Live. 25 Sports presents Bradley Basketball. And tonight the Bradley Braves are ready to howl. Hello and welcome to Bradley Basketball on WEEK. I'm Lee Hall along with former Bradley great and All-American Roger Fegley. The Braves bring a 3-game win streak here to Tulsa, but they have been a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of team. Roger, they've looked like they were coming out of their doldrums before. They beat Georgia Southern at home, but then they lost by 37 at Dayton. That's the kind of thing they have to avoid tonight.
You're right, and I really think, Lee, this is going to be a game that's going to put the Bradley season in perspective. Tulsa's always been one of the better teams in the league, and they're voted again to be there this year. This is the first time that the Bradley team has gone on the road in the Valley. They're going to play a very good team, and we'll find out tonight whether or not they match up to the top echelon of the league.
Regardless of how Tulsa has done in the past, they are always tough at home, at least regardless how well they do in the standings. They're always tough at home, a dominating team here in the 80s.
You're right. The front page of the program mentions that the tradition continues, and it does. That tradition over the past 10 years has produced 132 wins against only 20 losses in this building. They're very good, and they still are.
The Canes only lost 10 Valley games here in the 80s, so it should be a good one tonight. Bradley and Tulsa, the opening lineups are next. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Lee Hall along with Roger Fegley. Tragic day of sorts here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The acting president of the University of Tulsa, Michael W. Davis, died tragically yesterday. He had been fighting cancer, died unexpectedly yesterday. Now, less than a year ago, their university president of over 20 years, J. Pascal Twyman, also passed away due to cancer. So our sympathies to the Tulsa community and the family of acting president Michael Davis. The Braves, 5-10, 1-0 in the Valley. They are tied for first with Illinois State and Tulsa. So an early battle for first here in the Tulsa Convention Center. We're just about ready for our starting lineups. Tonight's opening lineups are brought to you by University Ford, the intelligent choice.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you and the Bradley viewing audience to the Tulsa Convention Center Arena for tonight's Missouri Valley basketball game. The Bradley Braves and the University of Tulsa Golden Hurricane. And now let's meet the starting lineup for both teams. First for Bradley, a 6'9" sophomore from Taft, Oklahoma, number 21, Temple Houston. For the Hurricane, a 6'6" senior from New York City, number 32, Lamont Randolph. For Bradley, a 6'7" sophomore from Lorain, Ohio, number 42, Andy Bastock. For Tulsa, a 6'3" senior from Indianapolis, Ryan Lloyd. For the Braves at center, a 6'8" senior from Springfield, Illinois, number 53, Luke Jackson. For the Hurricane, a 6'5" junior from Phoenix, Arizona, number 23, Michael Scott. And for the Braves at guard, a 6'1" freshman from Peoria, Illinois, number 14, Charles White. And for the Hurricane, a 6' junior from Orlando, Florida, number 3, Reggie Shields. And for the Braves, a 6'1" junior from Peoria, number 32, Curtis Stuckey. And for the Hurricane, a 6'1" junior from San Francisco, number 24, Marcel Gordon. And at the Bradley bench, head coach Stan Albeck. At the Tulsa bench, head coach J.D. Barnett.
It's always a classic, Bradley and Tulsa. Here are our officials for tonight's game. Ron Spittler, JC Lineback, who the Braves just had the other night against Drake, and Wayne Unruh. We'll be back with the opening tip-off in just a minute. Soft Xanthus Houston back home in Oklahoma against Lamont Randolph. Jumping things off. Roger, let's quickly hit on a few key things for Bradley in this ball game tonight.
Whenever Tulsa starts, leads after the first half, they usually win. 4-0 so far this season.
Marcel Jordan, Tulsa's leading scorer, with the first 2 points of the ball game on the follow-up.
Another key, I think, is going to be how well Bradley can handle Tulsa's pressure defense. During the shoot-around this morning, the one thing the coaching staff emphasized was that Tulsa likes to hang on a lot, they like to push, they like to shove, and they get by with that a lot. And that's just something that they have to expect and play through.
Tied at 2, a little over 19 minutes to play first half. It's Gordon again. He misses, and Luke Jackson grabs the rebound. A nice pass inside. Santos Houston to Luke Jackson.
Terrific
high-low game.
Terrific pass, and that was through a lot of Tulsa players, too. A little bit of a switch there. X playing the high post that time and Luke down low.
That high-low game has really proved beneficial for the Braves. They lead 4-2.
It's done so many things to improve the Bradley offense. It's gotten Luke out front where he can handle the ball, and he's turned into one of the better passers on the club. It's opened it up for X down low to maneuver where he's effective. It's also made some nice opportunities for backdoor cuts because you no longer have 2 post players down low, and you've always got one side of the floor open.
Braves lead 4-2, 18:20 to play first half. Charles White, the freshman from Central, and the Braves don't handle the pressure defense that time. Reggie Shields comes out of there with it, ahead to Scott. Michael Scott ties the ball game at 4.
Something fans in Peoria haven't seen from Tulsa in recent years is a running game. Coach J.D. Barnett thought that he had a lot of good athletic ability here, but in the past and also with this team only shooting 40-some%, he thought he needed to get a better shooting percentage. One way he thought he could accomplish that was by creating more pressure defensively, getting the ball out and running a little bit, getting some easier shots.
Charles White called for the travel. J.D. Barnett in his 5th season here at Tulsa, 77 and 55. Tied at 4. This is Shields, the junior college transfer, for 3. The Braves bring it the other way. Luke Jackson from the key. A nice rebounding effort there by Andy Bastock. Xanthus Houston gets the bucket.
I was going to say, X got the basket, and he'll get the credit in the scorebook, but that was made by Andy's keeping it alive.
Brian Lloyd for 3. Brian Lloyd is now the ball stolen away. Shields, the drive.
Wow.
Shields and Charles White both hit the floor, and we don't get a call.
Wow.
Get a look at assistant Marty Gillespie helping to direct the traffic.
Don't be surprised when you see Brian Lloyd shoot the 3-point shot. He's made a lot of them this year.
Xanthus Houston the miss. He follows, and the Braves lead by 1, 8-7. Xanthus Houston with 4.
Well, you know X wants to play well here. His only trip back to Oklahoma, where he has a lot of family and friends, and a lot of them are here tonight rooting him on.
Gordon misses again. Lloyd the follow-up. Now to Randolph inside. A lot of contact. And it's Lamont Randolph. His first 2 of the night. Tulsa leads 9-8. Luke Jackson.
Nice turnaround shot by Luke there. Boy, Luke's really improved over the past couple of years in that offensive category, especially being able to take the ball, spin, move real quick, get the shot up off the glass.
Brian Lloyd is 2 for 2 from three-point land. He is shooting 57% from three-point range.
No, that was prior to tonight's game. He's made 2 in a row here, so that's up a little bit too.
He's in the top 10 in the country in that category in three-point percentage.
That was a Marcel Gordon, first personal, first team.
Foul on Marcel Gordon, his first team foul.
And we have a timeout on the floor.
The Hurricanes are playing it tight defensively, and they lead Bradley 12-10.
The Azios man did it at halftime. You're seated in section 1, row A-X, seat 6. Come on down, section 1.
Named later tonight. Taco Bell will make a donation in the name of that player to Bradley University's General Scholarship Fund. The Braves trail Tulsa 12-10, 15-22 to go in the first half. The Braves shooting well, Roger.
Well, you said that right, 71% to start. Tulsa shoots 50%. That's well above their average also.
Charles White off the side of the bank board. Follow up, Xanthus Houston misses. And it's Tulsa ball. Andy Bastock in the midst of that, getting a hand on the ball too. Stan Albeck likes to work on the offensive glass for Bradley. Lamont Randolph on the block. Now it's Scott. Off the back of the rim, gets his own rebound in the lane, nowhere to go with it. And a hold on Xanthus Houston in the lane.
I think Luke kind of forgot to block out there. Michael Scott takes the shot. Luke's right there with him, and Scott just made a better effort to get in and get the rebound there. When you get it in there, you're pretty tough.
Michael Scott has a sprained ankle. If you look closely at his left ankle, he has a brace on it. You can't see it right there. Wasn't expected to play tonight. Only a 45% free throw shooter.
Look out! I got it out. Get ready now.
Scott hits both free throws, and Tulsa's lead is 14-10, their biggest.
There's this pressure that Bradley coaches warned them about. It really looks like they're trying to keep the ball out of Charles White's hands.
Xanthus Houston follows his own shot, misses an easy layup, and now falls to the floor and is called for the offensive foul. Second foul on Xanthus Houston.
Well, it's just a shame. He got a couple of real nice efforts at getting a shot up there, and I think he's just trying to clear himself and make some room, and lost his balance a little bit and ended up charging into a Tulsa player.
Roy for three. That's his first miss. Scott, another offensive rebound. He can't make the shot. Xanthus Houston pulls it down. Braves trail by 4, 14-20 to play first half. Braves work the ball against the tight man-to-man pressure by Tulsa. Charles White down the lane. Some contact, but no foul. This is Gordon. Gordon hits the floor. No foul there either, so they're letting him play. 16-10 Tulsa.
Well, you said that right. It's been a very physical game this far.
You can't complain about the contact on Charles White when Gordon hit the floor and nothing's called. Air ball Stuckey. Luke the rebound. And he's stripped. Shields. Andy Bastock. Nice rebound by AB. And things getting a little sloppy here in the early going. It's 16-10 Tulsa. Hurricanes 1-0 after a 5-point win here Saturday over preseason conference favorite Creighton. Now Gordon's pass is picked off Luke Jackson out front, and he's stripped by Reggie Shields, and no foul there. Stan Albeck is up off the bench.
Well, they're complaining at both ends of the scorer's bench. J.D. Barnett up complaining about some calls. Stan's up complaining about calls at his end of the floor.
The third foul on Xanthus Houston, and Stan Albeck is livid. I've heard of letting them play, but this is getting to be like a rugby scrum.
There's been about 6 players on the floor in the last minute, and they call that foul on X right there. A touch foul. It most probably was a foul, but it's hard to call that one when you don't call the other ones.
Stan Albeck, to say he's upset would be the understatement of the very young decade. Lamont Randolph at the free throw line. Randolph bounces that one in.
As it's turning out, the key to the game is going to be how well each team can handle this type of pressure, and who's going to be the stronger going into the final minutes of the game and be able to handle the stamina-wise.
Bradley expected a physical game. You always do when you come to Tulsa. It's 18-10. It's Tulsa's biggest lead, and Stan Albeck wants to talk it over. 12:57 to play first half. Bradley down by 8.
Timeout, Bradley.
12:57 to go first half. The Braves trail 18-10. The First National Bank of Peoria presents Where Are They Now? A special feature about a former Bradley basketball star. The First National Bank now in their 127th year. Bobby Hubbell's ranked 13th on Bradley's all-time scoring list with 1,262 points. And we'll get back to Bobby in just a minute. Andy Bastock.
Boy, you can just see Andy's confidence just soaring here in the last few games, can't you? Taking the ball right at him and getting an open 12-footer and knocking it down.
I don't want to shortchange Bobby Hubbell. He was co-captain in 1977 and 78. Works in Peoria, is married, has a son and a daughter. And was a teammate of Roger Fegley's.
And a great player and a great guy. A lot of my success went to Bobby's ability to get me the basketball.
He's a good tennis player, too.
Yeah, I hear he's been playing the past few years and he's gotten very, very good.
Played in the city tournament out of Glen Oak Park. And you're right, he is a nice guy. One of my boyhood heroes, along with, what's your name again? 18-12, Braves trail.
You weren't that young.
You're right.
Notice I say I'm not that old.
Well,
that could be contested a little, I guess.
Randolph inside. Jay Shell set to check in for the Braves. He just joined Xanthus Houston in early foul trouble. He has 3 already, and we're not even halfway through half number 1. Scott Barron's in the ball game to replace Xanthus. First time he's played in several games. He's battled some injuries. The freshman from Limestone with the ball on the baseline. Shot clock at 14. Curtis Stuckey count the basket, and Curtis Stuckey will go to the line.
It's good patience by Bradley there to get the ball into Curtis where he's pretty effective. Does a nice job of drawing the foul. Didn't have the presence of mind to get the ball in the basket after the whistle blows.
First foul on Reggie Shields. Curtis Stuckey 82% from the free throw. Completes the three-point play, and Bradley is back within 5. Scott Barron's back on the bench. Jay Shell into the ball game. Jay coming off a good shooting night against Drake. Probably his best night as a Bradley Brave. Ball inside to Randolph, and now it's Scott. Well, their shooting percentage is going to go up if they keep shooting shots like that. 22-15.
That's the byproduct of good interior passing.
Curtis Stuckey with 4. 10:30 to play first half. 22-17 Tulsa. And now a foul going against Lamont Randolph on the offensive end.
That was right in front of us, and I really didn't see much contact there at all. I think the officials kind of realized that things were getting a little physical and trying to do some things here in the next couple of minutes to get control of the game again.
Again. Charles White on the break. Kicks it out to Jay Shell for 3. Tulsa brings it the other way. Their lead is 5. Nice defense by Andy Bastock. Now the ball bounces back to Randolph. Well, you can't fault the defense there. That was just a bad break.
Well, the ball was up for grabs, and Bradley had a couple of guys with a hand on, just couldn't catch it.
Stuckey's shot is blocked. Andy Bastock, as he's done so well lately, is around the ball. Stuckey cannot hit. Alley-oop to Lloyd, tipped away by Bastock. Mark Georgie will check into the ball game for Tulsa. Reggie Shields takes a seat. The Braves down 7. Georgie, a good outside shooter. So's Lloyd. That's 2 misses in a row. Charles White got the rebound, but he's also called for the push-off. That's the first foul against the freshman from Peoria Central.
That's a terrible call.
Good defense by Andy Bastock. Now it's Jay Shell. Stuckey now to Luke Jackson.
Good
nice pass.
Luke Jackson from Stuckey.
Scorers that can pass really make themselves complete players because they draw a lot of attention, and there's going to be people open. Having the ability to get the pass to the guy that is open is a real talent. Curtis did a great job there.
Something that can be overlooked when you're scoring 25, 23 points a game now for Curtis Stuckey. Shot clock down to 20 now.
Lukeland and Lamont Randolph are really having a battle down in the paint for position offensively and defensively.
Andy Bastock, the big left-hander. Now Bradley is back within 3, 24-21. Wade Jenkins and Marcel Gort set to check in for Tulsa. Jenkins has missed 3 games with a knee injury.
Talked in the opening about how they were playing better than they went to Dayton and were blown out. Good to see them here. They had a chance where they were down a few points, 8 or 9, I believe, and now they've come back and gotten themselves right back in a good position.
Foul is on Luke Jackson, his first. This
First and 15 foul. Marcel Gordon.
early spurt of fouls against Bradley leads me to wonder about their depth. That's something that we haven't really seen become a problem so far this season, but it could tonight. As physical a game as this has become, Xanthus Houston is already out with 3 fouls. So Luke and Andy Bastock have to be careful inside.
Be ready on the second.
Lamont Randolph had 24 points, 8 rebounds in the big win over Creighton down here the other day.
Be ready on this one now.
6'6", 220, a big banger in the tradition of Tulsa big men.
Well, there's a reason why you're second team all-conference as a sophomore.
The storm warnings are out in Tulsa. The Hurricanes by 5. 8:17 to go here in the first half. 26-21. 10 points now for Lamont Randolph, so he has been a force inside. Now Gordon to steal. Lloyd for 3. Rebound Jenkins just into the ball game. The first action he's seen in quite some time. Now the steal by Curtis Stuckey. He'll take it all the way and get it blocked by Lloyd. Brian Lloyd only 6'3", but watch him get up on this.
He was kind of behind Curtis, too. I don't really know that Curtis saw him back there, and he had an opportunity to really time his jump.
Great athletic play there by Brian Lloyd. 26-21, Tulsa with 7:49 to go, first half. You can see cheers tonight at 9:30 following the game here on WEEK. LA Law fans, Sunday night at 10:30 right here at WEEK. So we wouldn't let you miss those for anything. 26-21, Tulsa leads with 7:40 to go first half. Both teams shooting about the same.
Shooting about the same, but dropping considerably. Bradley's down in the 42%, Tulsa at 41%. I think a lot of that's got to do with the physical play that we're seeing. It's tough to get a shot up that's not very well contested like that one there.
Gordon at the other end. And he's fouled by Jay Shell.
Bradley assistant Mo McCone up trying to get an explanation why that type of foul was called at this end and wasn't called at the other end. I don't think it's going to help though.
You're on the road, Coach Mo.
You got that right.
That's why. Marcel Gordon, one of the top junior college shooting guards, according to the Sporting News a year ago. Almost 23 points a game at City College in San Francisco, a highly touted JUCO player.
Nice shot, Phil.
He completes the three-point play, and it's 29-21.
A lot of JC players on this Tulsa team, 6. And that's one thing that J.D. Barnett has done in the past and will probably continue to. He likes the fact that he can bring in seasoned players that and try and blend them together. Usually they're a little bigger and a little stronger and have some Division I experience behind them.
Marcel Gordon is leading the Tulsa team in scoring. Gordon loses the ball in the lane and now gets it, knocks it down. 31-21, a 10-point Tulsa lead, their biggest of the night.
Gordon really showed his strength there. He picked the ball up off the floor. There were players all around him. He was able to use his body to clear an area that he could go up and shoot a shot from.
Georgie walks, but no call. Braves 2-on-1. Curtis Stuckey, in spite of some contact, gets the layup down. Curtis Stuckey with 6. 6:20 to play first half. 31-23. Jenkins over Andy Bastock. The Tulsa lead again is 10.
Right now, they pretty much have their way in their offense. They're maneuvering the ball around and getting exactly the shots that they want.
Jay Shell's shot for 3 missed, and now a foul on Marcel Gordon on the rebound. His second.
Fouls on Marcel Gordon, second first pistol.
Offensive rebound there for Curtis Stuckey, who has really played well on the offensive glass, something Stan Albeck has really pointed to. Missed there. It's a 10-point Tulsa lead, 5:40 to play first half. Georgie for 3. Stan Albeck in need of a timeout.
Tulsa's got 2 guys who can shoot that 3-point shot. Both of them.
Get at Evergreen Square and Northwoods Mall presents Hoop Q&A. If you have any question regarding basketball, head to the Athletic Shoe Market and put your question on an entry blank. We'll draw one out for each televised game and read that question on the air. Athletic Shoe Market will also give the person asking the question a $20 gift certificate. Barb Davis of Lakin asks, what is the most points scored in a Bradley game? The answer, 258 when Bradley defeated UC Irvine 139-119 on December 19th, 1987. I believe that was the game that Hersey Hawkins scored 50 points, or was it 51?
51.
51 to break Chet Walker's record. Thanks for the assist there, big man.
You got it.
What was that you were saying about good scorers can also pass, take an assist? Thanks for the help. Second foul on Lamont Randolph. The 5th team foul against Tulsa. Braves trail 36-23, 5 minutes to go in the first half. Back cut by Andy Bastock. The follow by Luke Jackson is missed. And now a foul on the floor against Ryan Lloyd.
I think they're going to call it on the floor also, meaning it wasn't in the act of shooting, and Bradley will take the ball out of bounds underneath the basket.
Andy Bastock tried for the tough reverse layup. So that's the 16th foul against Tulsa. The next foul against TU, and Bradley will go to the line. Ball swatted by Andy Bastock. It's out of bounds, and it'll save Bradley's ball.
You know, you and I had a chance to shoot a few shots this morning during the Bradley shoot-around practice, and I noticed that the rims are fairly tight here. And what you see with tight rims like that, a lot of shots are going to go in and out, and we've seen a lot of that happen tonight already.
I noticed that a lot today, too. And a lot of them bouncing off the rim, as I recall.
Well, I said in and out.
Oh.
They have to go sort of in before they come out to get that designation.
Mark Georgie, the drive and the layup. And now the Tulsa lead is 15. Roger, we talked at the beginning of the game, the Braves needed to stay in this one and not fall apart.
Well, they got themselves down 9. They did a super job of battling back and getting to within 3. Now they've had a little lull here offensively, and you know, Tulsa's not going to wait for you. They're going to take off and go, and they've got the ability to score a lot of points and run up some numbers on you.
Second personal foul against Reggie Shields. Charles White will go to the line. With Michael Scott back into the ball game now for Tulsa. Wade Jenkins checks in for J.D. Barnett, too. Neither coach too happy with the officiating here in the first half. Charles White, 76% from the line. It's 38-23 Tulsa. Anthony Hines into the ball game now for Tulsa. Shoots it over Luke Jackson and misses. Got the offensive rebound. And now a foul on Andy Bastock. Tulsa's really doing a yeoman's job on the offensive board, especially Michael Scott.
Watch this. Andy's got both hands up in the air. Up. He got one of them down there. Got it. From our angle, I didn't see the left hand sneak down there and foul him. I thought Luke fouled Hines on his attempt, which wasn't called, and then that one from our angle didn't look nearly as much of a foul as it really was. But it's just strange. Seems like there's a lot of rough play underneath tonight. It's going to be tough for Bradley to continue and keep up with the physical aspect of the game, having fouls to keep people in the game at the end.
Dwayne Broussard into the ball game for Bradley. Cornell Henderson into the ball game for Tulsa, his first appearance of the night. Scott makes them both. The Braves are down 17, 40-23. Dwayne Broussard, the freshman from Sugar Land, Texas. Now it's Stuckey all the way to the hoop. And now the foul on Henderson. The first foul on Cornell Henderson. Curtis Stuckey will go to the line.
Curtis Stuckey will shoot 2.
3 other Tulsa players with 2 fouls each, so they're in some foul trouble as well. Stuckey hits the first one, and that ends a drought for the Braves. They have been outscored 14-2 before that free throw. Stuckey hits them both. He's got 9. And it's a 15-point Tulsa lead with 3:30 to play first half. We thought we might see the Braves play a little bit of zone tonight. They're in the man-to-man there, and Wade Jenkins fires in a pair over that man-to-man defense.
Great footwork there. Just got tremendous position on Andy. When he got the ball, there's nothing Andy could do.
Bass got the rolling layup. The judges give him a 5.5 on that somersault. Scott Barron set to check in for Bradley. This is Georgie. Now it's an 18-point lead. And that's Tulsa's biggest of the night. Wayne Broussard misses the layup. A follow-up by Curtis Stuckey.
Curtis Stuckey.
11 for Curtis Stuckey. Scott, boy did he walk. Boy did he walk. Second personal foul against Luke Jackson. Boy, Scott walked bigger in daylights right in front of J.C. Leinbach, and he didn't call it.
To the inside position there by Henderson. He uses his body to keep away. The only thing Luke can do is come over the back and try and get a hand on that pass. That's just good fundamentals.
So Xanthus Houston on the bench with 3 fouls. Luke Jackson with 2. Cornell Henderson is at the line. 53% from the line. This guy played at Shawnee Junior College last year. He scored 50 points and grabbed 24 rebounds in a game against ICC. Hines checks into the ball game for Wade Jenkins. And Jenkins gets a great hand here. As we mentioned, he had missed a few games with a knee sprain. He's back in there tonight for the Canes. 47-29. Charles White back into the ball game for Bradley. Charles White, the jumper, missed. Really struggled from the field. Lou Dawkins, the freshman. What you got? 1:30 to play, first half. Georgie the miss, Stuckey the rebound. Stuckey for 3.
Boy, Bradley just can't buy a field goal.
Golden Hurricane outscoring the Bradley bench 14-0. And they lead by 18. Mark Georgie's right knee streaming down with blood. Now an offensive foul against Michael Scott.
Michael Scott was determined he was going to the basket. Watch that right shoulder right there. Just jumped right into Curtis's chest.
Less than a minute to play. 50 seconds first half. 47-29 Tulsa. With Hurricanes hounding Bradley with that man-to-man defensive pressure, and it's worked so far. 25 seconds to play first half. An 8-second difference between the shot clock and the big clock. The shot clock down to 8. Stuckey misses. It's Dawkins the other way. 10 seconds. Now stripped away by White. Dawkins gets it back. 6 seconds. 5. Shot with 3. Blocked. 1 second. And the Braves go to the locker room down by a bunch. The Hurricane. We'll be back in Tulsa in just a minute. By University Ford, the intelligent choice. By Hardee's. At Hardee's, we're out to win you over. By St. Francis Medical Center. By your local Agri-Center dealer. For your farm, your family, your piece of America. Agri-Center means more. By United States Cellular Mobile Telephone Network. By Lucozade. Natural energy tired bodies crave. And by the First National Bank of Peoria in our 127th year.
A free 6-year customer protection.
The Tulsa Convention Center, the Braves trail 47-29 at halftime. Our Taco Bell Bradley player of the game will be named later tonight. Taco Bell will make a donation in the name of that player to Bradley University's General Scholarship Fund. Roger, we talked before the game about Bradley getting off to a good start, shooting well, handling the defensive pressure of Tulsa. Not much of that happened.
Well, it did for a while, but unfortunately weren't able to do it for 20 minutes. I think the big key here, I really think Tulsa's a lot stronger physically than Bradley is. We had a chance with a couple of replays to really isolate a couple players down low, and you see that their footwork's a little better and their strength is a little better, and they're getting to the positions on the floor where they're better than what Bradley is getting in their positions offensively. And, you know, the shots are showing that Tulsa's getting much better shots and shooting a better percentage.
And it's hurt Bradley a little bit on the inside. Xanthus Houston sat most of the first half with 3 personal fouls. Luke Jackson has 2. And the Braves trail 47-39 at halftime. Now time for a word from our friends at Bradley. The Tulsa Convention Center, we are at halftime. Tulsa leads Bradley 47-29, and we are joined at halftime by Illinois State assistant coach Ray Giacoletti. And we saw you at the Bradley game against Drake the other night, and we mentioned this kind of before the game. Bradley's Jekyll and Hyde. They're a lot different than what you saw the other night against Drake.
Yeah, they seemed a lot fresher, and were able to get out and run as they want to do, push the ball off the floor constantly. Tonight with Tulsa, it puts the pressure, man-to-man pressure, hard on the ball, and get out and contest the passing lanes. It's a little bit different.
Let's talk a little bit about Illinois State and let some of the folks back in Peoria know about ISU. They're 1-0 in the Valley and at Drake tonight, and they've been playing pretty good ball.
Right. I've been checking to see if we get a halftime score, but we don't have anything yet. And it's a big weekend for us. We're at Drake tonight, and we're at Indiana State on Saturday night, and it's an opportunity for us to, we played some tough competition in the non-conference, to get in the Valley and see if some of the non-conference people, if it'll pay off in the Valley.
Ray is an East Peoria native, and your coaching career is kind of on the rise now.
I don't know about that. I know I'm with a good man at Illinois State, and Coach Bender. I couldn't be in a better situation than I am right now, and we're going to be fine. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we have a young staff. Everybody's hard working and gets along great, and it's a great situation to be into.
Ray, thanks for joining us tonight.
You,
good luck.
it.
Have a good trip.
You too.
All right. Ray Giacoletti, Illinois State assistant coach, joining us here at halftime. Tulsa leads 47-29. Now we'll go back to our studios. Tom McIntyre and a News 25 update. Mac.
Yes, thank you very
Bradley
much.
at halftime. Take a quick look at those first half stats, and we will see why the Braves are down by 18. The field goal percentage, Bradley came out shooting hot, but they are now down to 34%. Tulsa shooting better than they've shot all season, 52%. 11 of 11 from the line for the Hurricanes, and they are 4 of 9 from three-point land, so they are shooting the ball well tonight. For Bradley, Curtis Stuckey, 11 points to lead the way. The key stat here, Xanthus Houston, 4 points, 3 personal fouls, 2 personal fouls for Luke Jackson as well. Lamont Randolph leading Tulsa with 10 points. They have 3 gentlemen in foul trouble somewhat. Lamont Randolph, Marcel Gordon, and Reggie Shields, all with 2 personal fouls, so they need to be a little careful too.
I think the big stat in the game, Lee's not there. It's on the shot chart where Bradley's getting shots from and how they're doing from those positions. 22 shots in the first half from inside the paint. Bradley made only 9.
There you get a look at the Valley standings. Tulsa, Bradley, Illinois State, all on top at 1-0. As Ray mentioned at halftime, ISU is at Drake tonight. And we'll try and get you a score on that one just as soon as we can. You look at the overall records of these teams, and the Bradley kind of took a pounding in the preseason.
Well, no secret that they didn't have a good preseason. Everybody wonders how well that tough competition that they did play is going to help them going into the Valley season. They played well. They're not a very good road team, unfortunately, at this point, and they really struggled in the first half, and they've got a huge mountain to climb here.
Bradley 0-3 on the road so far this season, a 23-point loss at VCU, a 9-point loss at Missouri. They lost by 37 at Dayton, so their 3 losses on the road, they're averaging a 23-point loss in those 3 games. 47-29, we hope to see things turn around here second half. Starting lineup in there for Bradley: Charles White, Curtis Stuckey, Xanthus Houston, Andy Bastock, and Luke Jackson, who just scored a couple. Braves man-to-man to start the second half. And Luke Jackson has just picked up his 3rd foul. So now Xanthus Houston and Luke Jackson with 3 fouls each. We get a good look at Luke on the other end. You notice he's wearing that elbow pad on his right elbow. He landed pretty hard on that the other night in the Drake game, making a nice hustling play, saving the ball out of bounds. Lamont Randolph to the line. Randolph with 10 points in the first half, averaging 10.7, so he can go over his average with a couple of free throws here. Randolph 6 of 6 from the line. The Hurricanes perfect from the line in the first half, 11 for 11. Missed that one. The lead is 17, 48-31 Tulsa. Kind of a sparse crowd on hand here tonight at the Tulsa Convention Center. Curtis Stuckey, a nice turn move down the baseline.
Pretty move down the lane by Curtis that time.
He likes that spin move down the baseline.
The game could get interesting if Bradley would just make a few of those shots. We talked about how they struggled inside shooting in the first half. There's that one thing that means they are getting shots from inside the lane, and those are the kinds of shots you want to try and get. And so far to start the second half, they've had 2 from in there.
A Tulsa turnover, and the Braves can cut the lead to 13. 12 with a 3-pointer. Now the ball stolen away by Shields. And the official right there in the play didn't make the call. Weinbach was running down the other baseline. Watch this. You'll see an official in your shot here.
Let me move that soapbox, Lee, so you can get off of there.
There was an official 3 feet from it, and he didn't blow the whistle.
I agree. Those are things that's got to drive you nuts as a coach. It also drives you nuts as a player.
I'm not arguing the fact that there was a foul there. There was contact, there was a foul.
Well, it's difficult for a player. You saw the look on Charles's face as the foul was called. And, you know, as a player, you got to wonder why the official standing 5 feet away from you didn't call it. And then a guy at half court running towards you does call that. But, you know, we're sitting here. We've got a good angle of the play in that situation, and the official standing on the baseline is looking through players. He doesn't always have the best view.
It's 49-33. Tulsa with the pressure, and that man-to-man defense has really caused the Braves to be a little helter-skelter on offense. Underhand pass inside to Houston, and X drops it in.
Boy, let's hope that one gets X off the blocks here in the second half and gets him started playing the way he has been playing the past couple of games.
X with 6. You know, it's funny, he's come home and Taft, Oklahoma isn't too far from Tulsa. Donald Powell is from Oklahoma, and he never had a really great game down here either.
Well, it's got to be difficult for, a young college student coming home. It's really the only time that they'd have a chance to play in front of their family and friends, and they want to play well, and sometimes you just try to do too much, and in basketball, when you do that, it just doesn't work in your favor.
The X-Man is making me eat my words. Another bucket inside for X. 52-37. Inside to Randolph. Bounce that one off the rim. Boy, he gets that ball inside, and there's no stopping him.
The key there was he gets that ball inside. And anytime a player, if an inside post player gets the position that will close to the basket, they're going to be awful tough.
A nice cut by Charles White and a nice pass by X.
I think so. That's the first backdoor pass that we've seen for a layup by Bradley, and they've done that a lot the past couple of games, but not tonight.
Ball stripped by Curtis Stuckey. Andy Bastock to dunk at the other end. And guess what? The Braves have cut the lead to 11.
They've done it with defense. Tulsa's missing a few shots. Bradley's getting the ball. They're getting out and getting some easy ones like that.
52-41 Tulsa leads. We'll be right back. Foul call against Luke Jackson. That is 4 fouls on Luke Jackson, and that is a mighty big call. 16:08 to play in the ball game, and Luke Jackson is going to have to play carefully now. Georgie for 3. And that's enough to take the wind out of your sails. Foul on Luke, his 4th, and then a 3-pointer for Georgie, who is 3 of 3 from the line, 3-point line. The foul is on Gordon, his 3rd.
Marcel Gordon, 3rd personal, 1st team foul.
And now a holding call on Brian Lloyd. So back-to-back fouls against the Hurricanes. And J.D. Barnett wondering what's going on down at the other end of the floor.
2nd personal, 2nd team foul.
It's 55-41, Tulsa leads. Their biggest lead has been 18. Now the ball stolen away by Tulsa. This is Jenkins. And a great effort there by Andy Bastock to swat the ball away. He's called for the foul.
Andy Bastock, 2nd personal, 4th team foul.
People have said that Andy Bastock doesn't have a great deal of speed, but let me tell you what, he got there in a big hurry to keep Wade Jenkins from getting a big dunk. Jenkins sprained his knee against Arkansas State. He hasn't played since December 29th. See the big brace there on his left knee. This is the second one. It's a 15-point Tulsa lead, 56-41. Charles White in trouble, gets the ball across the 10-second line to Stuckey. Stuckey.
Curtis Stuckey.
15 for Stuckey. Jenkins couldn't hang on to the ball. Bradley brings it the other way. A nice pass from Luke Jackson to Charles White.
That was a great pass from Luke to Charles White. Not many 6'9" people in the Valley are going to take 3 or 4 dribbles out that far away from the basket and deliver that nice of a pass.
Cornell Henderson now into the ball game. Puts the Tulsa lead back up to 13. 58-45. Nice pass, Bastock to X. X has 10.
Braves starting to come alive a little offensively here. They need to tighten up the reins on the defensive end and not get into a situation where they just match baskets with Tulsa.
The lead is 11. Bradley can cut it to single digits with a stop here. Jenkins will go to the line to try and complete the three-point play. And that's 4 fouls on Xanthus Houston.
Way at the line of the foul shot.
I remember way back in the preseason, Roger, when we watched the Braves play Marathon Oil and the Brazilian Nationals.
I know what you're getting at. We were talking about lack of depth and the ability for the Bradley front line to play in foul trouble. And they've been fortunate thus far. There haven't been that many times where they've been in foul trouble where it's really been a problem, but it's definitely a problem now.
I don't know what Stan Albeck is discussing here. But J.D. Barnett wants to get in on it. Stan Albeck wants the call to go against Andy Bastock. Stan kind of wanted to see a replay of that one. Jenkins makes it 61-47. Stan wanted the call against Andy Bastock. The call went against Xanthus Houston instead, and now the two big Bradley guys in foul trouble. Stuckey to miss from three-point land, and now Tulsa quickly the other way. Marcel Gordon. Luke Jackson. Well, you didn't see it, but Luke Jackson, the jumper, and it's 63-49. Georgie loses the ball, and now he's on the floor, and that's a jump ball. Stan Albeck wanted to travel. And now a technical, a cheap technical against Stan Albeck. And Georgie is rolling around on the floor. His knee's been bleeding for most of the ball game. Stan Albeck called for the technical. Mark Georgie will shoot the 2 free throws. That's the first technical that I can remember this season against Stan Albeck.
I think you're right.
And now Tulsa will get the ball after the technical, 64-49.
Now the discussion is what do they do with his shot?
Stan Albeck telling J.D. Barnett to get back in the coach's box. He might get a technical. And there is no love lost between Stan and J.D. J.D. will have no part of the clowning around.
We had a little discussion in Peoria last year at midcourt after a game.
Right.
That's over
and back.
I think the discussion that J.D. was having with the officials was about where the possession arrow should be going now after that jump ball call with the technical in there to confuse it. Doesn't make any difference in that situation. With the technical, the ball automatically goes to Tulsa.
13:40 to play, 64-49, Tulsa leads. Nice pass inside to Bastock. Andy with 10. Luke Jackson and Xanthus Houston both playing with 4 personal fouls. Gordon the miss. Xanthus Houston almost tipped it in. And the foul will go against Tulsa. Gone.
They called on 23. There's no 23 on the floor. It should be on Gordon, 24.
Gordon's fourth, 13 foul, 13 minutes to play, Bradley down 13. Andy Bastock posts up against the shorter Gordon. He's triple team, not double team. Stuckey for 3. The Braves have not hit a three-pointer yet. I believe they are 0 for 5. 0 for 4 perhaps. Jordan makes it 66-51. And the Braves just can't get over the hump here in the second half. Andy Bastock, he's got sweet touch.
Really developed that shot with a nice soft touch.
Andy with 12. Now the foul against Charles White, his third. Reggie Shields, Michael Scott, Lou Dawkins all check into the ball game for Tulsa.
Got to get there a little earlier, Charles, if you're going to try and stop his direction like that.
I remember the game against Lamar. We didn't televise that game, but I was watching the first half down at Carver Arena, and Charles showed exceptional quickness to get in front of the man with the ball and draw the charge. I didn't think anybody could move that fast, but Charles was quick. They finally called Michael Scott for the travel. He shuffled his feet about 4 or 5 times tonight. And he gets caught that time. The lead's still 13, 12 minutes to play. Xanthus Houston. X with 12. And that lead is down to 11 again for Tulsa. The Braves cannot snap that barrier here in the second half. They've gotten within 11 a couple of times. Dawkins around Bastock. And the tip for Cornell Henderson. Stuckey in the lane. He's got 17. Shields. And that's going to go against Henderson.
This game's really picked up in intensity again. Got a little slow there at the end of the first half. Bradley's back in this, playing well. Again, they're going to have to come back and build a lead in this game if they can defensively.
11:04 to play in the ball game. Tulsa leads Bradley 68-57. We'll be right back. Cheers, fans. You can see tonight's episode immediately following the game at 9:30 right here on WEEK, just before News 25 Nightside. LA Law fans, tonight's episode can be seen at a special time, Sunday night at 10:30. So you will see both of those Thursday night favorites here on WEEK. 11 minutes to play in the ball game. Luke Jackson, the dribble, now the jumper. And the foul against Andy Bastock, his third. Bastock with 3, Luke and X with 4 fouls apiece. That Tulsa win over Creighton the other night, Roger. The entire front line for Creighton fouled out, so that's nothing new down here in Hurricane country.
You better be ready to play physically when you come to Tulsa.
That hasn't changed in 20 years, has it?
No, their style has always created a physical game, and they look, that's part of JD's philosophy recruiting those junior college players. That's the style they're going to play, and those type of players can handle the strength factor in the game.
Wade Jenkins, a big one, 6'5", 190. He might be a little heavier than that. It's 70-57 Tulsa. Jenkins with 10. Stuckey, short. Somebody got a piece of it. Jenkins the jumper. He's long. Now the ball bounces around and a jump ball. And the possession arrow points Tulsa's way. Stan Albeck wants to know why that's not Bradley's ball. Bastock. What a nice move by the sophomore. Andy Bastock now with 14.
Bradley managed just to hang right there at that 11, 12, 13 point. They call that on Luke.
That's all for Luke.
First personal foul is called on Luke Jackson.
That is Luke's 5th personal foul. And this is the first game of the season that Luke Jackson has fouled out. 12 points for Luke, 5 rebounds. And the Tulsa crowd wishes Luke well. Jay Shell into the ball game for Luke.
Who you got? I got 32. All right. You ain't got to worry about it. I hear you.
Shields hits them both. It's 72-59. They're not going to let Jay Shell get an open three-pointer. You can bet on that. Xanthus Houston, the fall away won't go, and the Tulsa Hurricanes come out of there with it. Randolph. Andy Bastock had the rebound, and now it's swatted away to X. Andy Bastock, the turnaround jumper. What a tough shot.
Nice shot.
16 for Bastock.
Somebody's going to have to step forward now for Bradley. With Luke out of the game, everyone at this point is just kind of looking around at each other, trying to see who's going to take the step forward and be the leader out front for the team. And it'll be interesting to see who that person is.
Oh, look out there. We've got a freshman. And a foul on Charles White. Bradley playing now with a freshman, a sophomore, 2 sophomores and 2 juniors.
There was a lot of raised eyebrows when Luke fouled out of the game. Tulsa players looking at each other, just nodding their heads, knowing that there's a lot of free space down low now, and they've been successful already at getting the ball inside and getting easy shots, and you can bet they're going to be really trying to establish good position down low now, getting the ball into the blocks and getting some easy baskets.
The Sharks are circling. Fins to the left, fins to the right. Tulsa's ready to go for the kill. Luke Jackson.
Boy, Tulsa shot free throws amazingly well for a team that's about 43%.
There you see what it takes for Luke Jackson to play ball. He is a tough young man. What do they miss? 1 or 2 from the free throw line? They are really shooting the ball well at the line. It's 74-61. Ball swatted away, controlled by Bradley.
Charging foul on Andy.
That's Bascock's 4th.
Andy's really working hard to get position and get the basketball. He's got the hot hand, and Bradley's doing a good job of getting the ball. I don't think there's much question there. I think Andy just expected it to be open and put his head down and went before he checked his lane.
Well, the Braves didn't exactly fall apart. They were down 18 at halftime, and they put on a couple of spurts to get within 11 of J.D. Barnett's Hurricane. Leads 13 now. 13.
Well, we've seen all year that they're not going to give up. They're always going to fight to the end.
Shield three-pointer rolls around and falls. Bradley takes a timeout with 8:01 to play. Tulsa leads 77-61. They'll put 60 seconds on the screen. If Bradley slam dunks the ball during the next 60 seconds, Jim Dotson Jr. wins a free cellular phone from United States Cellular. Jim got his chance to win the phone by filling out an entry blank at United States Cellular in Peoria. Register and you can have your name drawn and get the chance to win. A three-pointer for Jay Shell, and the Children's Miracle Network makes some money off of that thanks to WEEK. Turn it into a multi-million-dollar corporation here. I think we're pretty generous, Roger. We're giving away all kinds of money this year.
There we are.
We haven't given away any phones.
You can just get a dunk.
Fouls on Michael Scott. His second, 15th foul on Tulsa.
That's a strange call.
You are in the twilight zone tonight, my friend. It's 77-64. And there's a foul on Brian Lloyd. His third. So Lloyd and Gordon, no luck. Jim Dotson Jr. did not win a phone, but you can register at United States Cellular for your chance. Nice cut by Stuckey and a nice pass by Charles.
And that's the 7th team foul for Tulsa, so Bradley will go to the line now with at least a one-on-one opportunity for the rest of the game. And that's going to be important because, as we've talked about before, when you're behind, you like to score points without running time off the clock.
J.D. Barnett looking down his bench because Brian Lloyd has 4 personal fouls. Curtis Stuckey hits the free throw. He's got 18 now. Michael Scott checks back in. Short on that one and doesn't get the roll. 7:30 to play at 77-65. Charles White, Curtis Stuckey, Andy Bastock, Jay Shell, Xanthus Houston, the lineup for the Braves. Luke Jackson is on the bench. He is fouled out. So the challenge is a great one for the Braves. Jenkins.
Bradley, that time then he tried to play in front of Jenkins. The lob pass went over his head, and that gave him pretty good position. And the weak side defense just wasn't there quick enough to avoid a shot.
Jenkins again. He's got 14. And the lead is now 16 for Tulsa, 81-65. Charles White, a nice move. Right down the lane for Charles. He's got 6. And while we were watching that replay, Charles White is whistled for his 5th personal foul. You know, you do wonder, Roger. Charles White hasn't fouled out of a game all season, and neither has Luke. They've both fouled out tonight, so you know it's been physical.
Boy, you danced out of that one pretty smoothly.
Thank you. Thank you. That's how I got the degree. Dwayne Broussard into the ball game for the Braves. Dwayne did not play in the win the other night against Drake.
Tough position for Dwayne to come in at this point in the game. It's tough to sit a long time and come in. He's going to have to handle the ball about 80% of the time in this type of offense.
It's 83-67. 6:15 to play in the ball game. Xanthus Houston calling for the ball inside. A nice move, but he can't get the shot to fall.
Did do a nice job of clearing himself with a shot. Just didn't get it to go down.
Jenkins doesn't get that one. Scott got the offensive rebound. And that's going to be all for Xanthus Houston. Xanthus Houston fouls out. X finishes the game with 12.
Fans who park in the garage underneath Jason's Arena from now on future games. The regular entrances will be available, so the Hurricanes up underneath
Scott Behrens, the freshman from Limestone. Let's try that one again. Limestone checks in for X.
You know, Tulsa finished second in the Valley last year, and they had 8 returning players from that team this year. They brought in 4 players that J.D. Barnett thought would be immediate impact players. And one thing that he said that was a key for him this season was to be able to use everybody, use them effectively, keep everybody happy, because he's got a lot of talent on his bench and a lot of players that he can bring in and not hurt their team offensively or defensively. And tonight he's used a lot of players, and he's used them fairly well, and the outcome for them has been tremendous. He's had great intensity from his team regardless of which combinations he uses. He's done a nice job with them.
Broussard. And now a foul against Wade Jenkins. You know, Tulsa finished 7th in the Valley the year before last and struggled, but J.D. brought them right back.
You're right, they weren't down long.
You know they're going to be contending for it this year. They already have a win over Creighton. They're going to have a win over Bradley. Behrens at the line. The freshman from Limestone misses. 5:30 to play. It's 85-67. Shields dishes it off. Lamont Randolph with 15. Tulsa's lead is back to 20. Wichita State Saturday, and we're going with them. Don't miss our broadcast Saturday night at 7:30 right here on WEEK. Should Tulsa go on to win this one, they would be 2-0 in the Valley, and they would be tied for first with Illinois State. The Redbirds, a winner on the road tonight at Des Moines, 85-81 over Drake. So Bob Bender unbeaten him as a Missouri Valley Conference coach.
That's a big win for Illinois State. Drake played pretty well against Bradley and Peoria, and you would have thought going home that they would have certainly been ready for that game.
Nice behind-the-back dish by Jay Shell to Scott Barron, and that ball tipped in by Bastock. Andy with 18, and he's getting close to his career high.
Andy's getting close to a Valley Player of the Week.
He is at that. He'll be contending with Lamont Randolph of Tulsa, who had 23 points against Louisiana Tech and 24 against Creighton. And Randolph's got 15 tonight. Wade Jenkins gets a big hand from the folks here at Tulsa. They appreciate his effort.
Boy, they're glad to have him back, too. He's a player.
Of course, they're playing without Jamal West, who was their point guard coming into the season. He is out for the season after shoulder surgery. So you wonder how good this team would be with him.
Well, they didn't lose a lot. They brought Reggie Shields in. He went from averaging about 4 points a game as a reserve, jumped right up to about 12-5 as a starter. He's played 8 games in a row now, so you know they've got some talent that they can bring in those situations and not lose a lot.
Stuckey the layup. Curtis now with 20. He only had 15 against Drake, and that was the first time that he had not led Bradley in scoring in 5 games. The foul on Curtis at the other end.
Dwayne Bouchard's limping pretty good out there. He's holding his lower back.
Randolph will shoot 2.
The officials will call out Bradley trainer Bill McGehee, looking very dapper tonight. I think he bought a new tie. He was talking about heading out and buying a new tie today.
Those guys have a tendency to dress up for those TV games, don't they?
You bet. Don't think they don't know, because they always ask. And Billy's a good man and a good trainer, too. Dwayne Broussard will take a seat.
He's holding his lower back. I thought at first he sprained an ankle, but appears to have a problem with his lower back.
Mike Cash, the senior, checks into the ball game. He did not play against Drake. Broussard hasn't played much lately. Let's hope he's okay. Lamont Randolph at the line. Randolph leading the way for Tulsa. They've got 3 guys in double figures. Well-balanced scoring team for J.D. Barnett. Look at that, 7 of 9 from the line. Good board work by Henderson. Double dribble call against Reggie Shields. Jason Ludwig will check into the ball game for Tulsa. Michael Scott will take a seat for the Hurricane. Ludwig, 6'6", a sophomore from Olmsted Falls, Ohio.
There's 10 big points from Michael Scott, who wasn't expected to play tonight with that sprained ankle.
6 of 6 from the line.
You know, he's a great defensive player, too, and it was interesting they didn't start him on Curtis Stuckey tonight, probably because of the ankle injury. But they put Brian Lloyd on Curtis to start the game. Another good defensive player, and I think their size on the Bradley guards have really given them a lot of problems.
Andy Bastock is fouled out. And he finishes with 20 points. And Stan Albeck looking down the bench to see if he's got anybody left. Andy with his 3rd game over 20 points.
Another great effort by Andy. Just didn't get a lot of help tonight.
He hustles. Trevor Hart, the freshman walk-on, into the ball game for the Braves. Trevor from McHenry, Illinois. It's his first playing time in the Valley. Shields with 15. And now a foul on Henderson. We talked about the Braves' depth. Luke Jackson, Charles White, Xanthus Houston, and Andy Batstock have all fouled out. Dwayne Broussard is hurt. You don't have any eligibility left, do you?
Nope. How about you?
Sure. Mike Cash rolls in the free throw. Short on the second one. Hart the rebound. The alley-oop. Randolph missed, and now it's swatted out of there by Scott Barron. 2-on-1 Braves. Stuckey. Curtis Stuckey will go to the line to shoot a couple of free throws. Third foul on Reggie Shields. Well, we had hoped the Braves would come in here and at least play a good ball game. Just wasn't there tonight. Now that you're in the Valley season, you don't have much time to worry about it. You got to go out there and play again. Braves lead tomorrow morning for Wichita. They'll play the Shockers Saturday night. Shockers 0-1 in the Valley. They lost to Drake at home last Saturday.
And that's a game that Bradley can win. It'll be interesting to see, and of course we'll have it for everyone to see how well they come back from a game like this. And again, still on the road, that's going to be difficult and always will be, but certainly a game, like I said, that Bradley has a chance to win. Wichita not as good as they've been in the past, and early in this season not playing as well as they can. Thinking Bradley's defense tonight, I really thought in the second half they came out and did some of the things that they were trying to do all the entire game long, and really played fairly well, played even with Tulsa. They just got themselves in such a hole in the last 5 or 10 minutes of that first half that they're always fighting to try and get from 15 to 8 or 6 back, as opposed to being even and having a chance to stay with them and put some pressure on Tulsa. Virtually in the second half, Tulsa's had absolutely no pressure on them other than one run that Bradley did get where they cut it to 11 points. But it's pretty much been Tulsa's way the entire game.
They never could get that lead cut to less than 11. I think maybe if they could have got it down to 9 in single digits, it might have given them a boost.
And Tulsa's got a few people in foul trouble too, and had Bradley been able to get that, get the point spread down to 2 or 4 points, then Tulsa would have to play a little more aggressive defensively and contest some shots that maybe with a 10, 12, 14-point lead you don't contest quite as badly and don't get a foul. And, a lot of different things could have happened, but unfortunately it's not going to happen tonight.
3:11 to play in the ball game. Lou Dawkins, highly touted freshman from Saginaw, Michigan, at the line. Sporting News had him number 11 among the top 50 freshmen. Lou Alcindor Dawkins. Wonder who he was named after. Think Dad was a basketball fan? This Lou is LOU, and of course Kareem was LEW. But you get the idea. 93-78. Jay Shell for 3. Not there for Jay tonight either. Jay Shell, we have him 1 for 4 from three-point land. .78, 2:45 to play. going to be important to see how well Bradley bounces back from this one, Roger. Stuckey hits the layup.
They're sure giving up a lot of points tonight. They haven't given up this kind of points all year.
Mike Cash couldn't control the ball inside.
Tulsa.
You see Curtis on the layup. He's got 26.
Tulsa fans are really starting to enjoy this one. It's getting a little careless.
Bradley gave up 94 points against Long Beach State in the first game we televised this season. They gave up 98 at Dayton. Tulsa has 93 with 2:26 to play. So this could be the highest point total against Bradley this season. Could very easily be the highest point total.
And they're going to have to find a way to keep teams from scoring that many points because Bradley just doesn't have the offense to compete and score that many points.
Ball down the court to Mike Cash. High off the bankboard. It won't go. And now Tulsa the other way. Ludwig missed the three-pointer. Tulsa's up by 15, and they got 4 starters in there with a minute 50 to go. Nice pass. Jay Shell couldn't get the ball to drop. Look at the walk-on. Look at the freshman walk-on Trevor Hart with the hustle. Falling all over Jason Ludwig. And it's Bradley's ball out of bounds. Trevor Hart, the double pump. Tulsa getting a little fancy there on the fast break. Jay Shell, now he's going to try and dish it inside, and his pass is intercepted. A minute 20 to play.
Think the fans won 100?
I think so. This is the third 90-plus game for Tulsa this season in points.
Ryan Lloyd at the line for the Hurricane.
Tulsa knocked off number 22 Oklahoma State earlier this season, 95-80. Oklahoma State ranked 22nd at the time. That was the first Tulsa win against a ranked team since they upset number 8 Bradley in the Missouri Valley Tournament right here in 1986. Lamont Randolph takes a seat. 15 for Randolph, the senior. Brian Lloyd makes it 97-80, a minute 10 to play. Jay Shell bringing the ball up against the pressure. Tulsa's just too quick for him inside.
JD saying, hold it, and the fans yelling, shoot it, shoot it.
Stuckey, his third.
Well, the fans liked it back in Nolan Richardson's day when the Hurricane got up and down the floor a little bit, scored a lot of points, and that might have had a little influence on JD this year. He's got some players.
He's got some ball handlers and got some guys who can run the floor. It makes a difference, you know. Everyone likes to run, but if you don't do it effectively, you just can't do that and play that type of game.
It's 98-80 with 48 seconds to play. I remember talking to JD before the season about them playing a little bit up-tempo. They had played a bit at a bit quicker pace in their exhibition games, and he was kind of surprised that anybody else knew about that. I don't think he was quite comfortable with it yet. He's letting them play down here in Tulsa.
His third.
got a couple of pretty good guards. Reggie Shields going to be a good player, and
Reggie Shields, a first-team junior college All-American last year. He was the preseason newcomer of the year in the Valley, and he is living up to that now. Curtis Stuckey with 27. 9 of 10 from the free throw line. .38 seconds to play. It's 98-82, and the fans here in Tulsa want 100. Shields off the top of the bank board. Now it's Mike Cash. Had the fast break and couldn't control the ball. .23 seconds. Ludwig for three. That does it.
free hamburgers for everybody. .101.82 our final. We'll be back at Tulsa in just a minute.
Had to iron that brought everybody's attention immediately to that problem. And now, I'll give you an example. The Goodrich team for 1990, we've made their uniforms just look like regular uniforms, but they won't burn. And they are lined with PVI, the Celanese fabric.
The whole protection package,
50 miles north.